Who'd have thunk it? But the reality is that even problems like bone loss leading to osteoporosis, again, could have their origins in the gut. And the solution seems to be in the gut, which is quite extraordinary. The researchers have looked at this, and they found that people who take probiotic supplements, which help to to improve the gut environment, called the microbiome, people who take probiotic supplements halve the rate of bone loss, the actual rate of bones, not just the possibility, but actually halve the rate of bone loss. The health of the bone is directly affected by this. And of course, which means you reduce your chances of osteoporosis and fractures, which is a big problem for the elderly. It's a big problem for women once they're past the menopause. And, it's one of these things that has always been put down to being, part of the aging process, and that there's nothing anyone can do about it. But, there is. And it's as simple as this, as taking this probiotic. They tried it out on 90 women who had an average age of 76, half of whom were given the probiotic, the rest were given a dummy powder. And after a year, CT scans revealed that the bone health of those taking the probiotic was far, far superior to those who had given the dummy powder. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's so interesting, Brian, when you think about the way osteoporosis is treated. It's treated by essentially slowing down one process. Bone is dynamic, and it's got the builders, the architects, and the repairmen. And the architects are constantly building new bone while the repairmen are pulling down old bone. And this carries on as an ongoing process. And what they try to do with osteoporosis drugs is just remove the repairmen, basically. And they just slow down that process so there's just new bone laid down, but not old bone taken away. And the problem is that bone gets harder but brittle. It's not a real process. It doesn't reflect the dynamic process that's going down of building up and breaking down, building up and breaking down all the time. And also, they diagnose this as a problem of lack of calcium. There are so many women who die whose cadavers are then checked out, during autopsy. They find all this calcium all around the body. It's not making its way to the bones. So that's a really wrong-headed approach. And once again, what we find is that everything is connected, and it all starts and ends with the gut. And the gut, if the gut is healthy, it's creating what is necessary for good bone health at any age. The problem is, as people age, they have less stomach acid, they have, fewer of the good guy bacteria in their gut. And so that's probably the problem behind osteoporosis, according to this kind of research, rather than the idea that bones just automatically get brittle as you get older.
So it's a process problem, that we're not digesting properly, absorbing properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And when we do, we just aid that ongoing process that happens through our lives, no matter what age we are.
And I suppose that's the consequence of a poor diet over time, that we become less able to process and digest properly.
Poor diet, toxins, there's so many toxins out there that mess up gut health. Everything from mercury in the food and amalgam fillings, that's a big gut messer-upper.
Right.
And there's also, the other toxins we have in our environment are stress. Stress has a terrible effect on the gut. And as I say, as we age, we have less stomach acid, and that has a big effect on things. We develop leaky gut from taking too many pharmaceutical drugs. We have parasites. We pick up all kinds of nasties all over the place, and we don't have enough good guys in our bacteria, in our gut to fight off these bad guys, these parasites. So all of these things are part of a whole spectrum of things that can be sorted out easily with the right supplements. And here is it's such an interesting example of one thing that is a distant part of the body is still affected by this central process.
So is the menopause a bit of a red herring in all
Oh,
this?
totally a red herring. You
So-
know, tell it to some of those women in the blue zones who were hiking and walking and healthy over 100, and they don't have bone problems. Or, you know, women from indigenous cultures, they don't have bone problems either.
Right.
It's a diet problem. It's a gut problem.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.